all the quadratics we've done so far have looked like this. So basically the coefficient or the number that's in front of our variable or in front of our x squared term has always been 1. So let me show you here. Every time we factorise, it was always been 1x squared, 1x squared, x squared. Yeah, it's always been like this. So the next step we're going to have to do is involving factorising quadratics where the coefficient of x squared is not 1. So here are some 4 examples that we're gonna try, and we'll show you how to do it. And this is where our whole arrows come in. So same ideas again. First of all, I start by writing down the factors of 2x squared. So the factors of 2x squared are 2x and x, because 2x times x gives me 2x squared. Second thing I have to do is write down the factors of 14, all the pairs of factors of 14, except this time I have to write them 2 ways. So, for example, I'm going to write 14 and 1, but I also have to write 1 and 14. I'm going to write 7 and 2, and then 2 and 7. Okay? Now what we're going to do is draw on our arrows again. So we draw on our arrows, and as usual we're going to try and make this number in the middle here. This is where the arrows come into play. So I say 2x times 1 is 2x, and x times 14 is 14x. So can I make 11 using 14x and x? Sorry, 14x and 2x. Is that possible? Well, no, I can't. 14x and 2x, I can't make 11. So let's have a look at this. 2x times 14 is 28, and x times 1 is x. Can I make 11 using 28 and 1? No. So I can't use that. Let's have a look at the next one. 2x times 2 is 4, and x times 7 is 7x. So can I make the 11 using a 4 and a 7? Well, yeah, I can. 7 and 4 gives me 11. So that can work. Check the last one. 2x times 7 is 14x, and x times 2 is 2x. So using a 14 and a 2, no, I can't make the 11, so that doesn't work either. So it must be this pair of factors here. So let's make sure we get our signs correct now. I'm looking for plus 11x, so it's going to have to be 2 times 2 is 4, and 1 times 7 is 7. 7 plus 4 gives me 11, so both of these are positive. Okay? Then we just write our factors down as per usual, but this is why we read them horizontally, so we read across. So my factors are going to be 2x plus 7 and x plus 2. And again, if we expand that out, we will get this again. Okay? Right, that's the first example done. Let's have a look at the next one. So, start by writing down the factors of 7x squared. The factors of 7x squared are 7x and x. Now let's write down all the factors of 8, both directions. So I'm going to write down 8, 1. In fact, let's go back to red. We usually use red for this. So we write down 8 and 1, 1 and 8. And then we've got 4, 2, and 2 and 4. So, put our arrows in, as per usual. Arrows here, and arrows here. Right, now let's check. Our target number this time is going to be minus 18. So let's see. 7 times 1 is 7, 1 times 8 is 8. Can I make 18 using 7 and 8? No, I can't. Right, let's check the second one. 7 times 8 is 56. 1 times 1 is 1. Can I make 18 using 56 and 1? No. So I can't use that. Let's check the next one. 7 times 2 is 14. And 1 times 4 is 4. Can I make 18 using 14 and 4? Well, yes, I can. So that's a possibility. And the last one, always check them all. The last one, 7 times 4 is 28. And 1 times 2 is 2. Can I make 18 using 28 and 2? No. So it can't be that. So it must be this pair of factors here. Now the last thing I have to do is make sure I get my signs correct. So, just changing colours here. 7 times 2 is 14. And 1 times 4 is 4. But I need minus 18. So in order to get minus 18, both of these have to be negative. Yeah? 7 times minus 2 is minus 14. And 1 times minus 4 is minus 4. Minus 14 x minus 4x gives me that minus 18x that we're looking for. So we read off our factors then horizontally. So 7x minus 4 and x minus 2. So it's 7x minus 4 and x minus 2. And that's it factorised. Again, if I expand this out, I expand this guy out, we will end up with this again. Okay, check it if you like. Right, let's have a look at the next one. So again, write down the factors of 5x squared. So factors of 5x squared are going to be 5x and x. The factors of 6 are going to be 6, 1, and 1 and 6, because we have to write them in both directions to make sure we check everything. And then we got 3, 2, and 2 and 3. Again, put in our arrows. This is the way that we're doing the multiplications. And now let's check for our target number. Our target number this time is going to be minus 17. So that's what we want to make. So 5 times 1 is 5, and 1 times 6 is 6. Can I make 17 using a 5 and a 6? No, no chance. Let's check the next one. 5 times 6 is 6. Sorry, 5 times 6 is 30, and 1 times 6. Okay. Let's do that again. 5 times 6 is 30, and 1 times 1 is 1. Can I make 17 using 30 and 1? Well, no. Let's check the next one. 5 times 2 is 10. 1 times 3 is 3. 10 and 3, can I make this? No. So that doesn't work. Let's check the last one. 5 times 3 is 15. 1 times 2 is 2. Can I make 17 using 15 and 2? Well, yes, I can. Let's just check that one again. 5 times 3 is 15, and 1 times 2 is 2. 15 and 2 I can use to make a 17. Now the last thing we have to do is make sure our signs are correct. Now I need negative 17. So 5 times 3, we're going to have to use minus 3. 5 times minus 3 is minus 15, and 1 times minus 2 gives me minus 2. And over here we'll do it aside. Minus 15x minus 2x, well, that gives me the minus 17x that we're looking for. Again, we read our factors horizontally. So we read across 5x minus 2, 5x minus 2 times x minus 3, x minus 3. And that's it, done. Right, last one. Factors of 5x squared are 5x and x. Now let's write down all the factors of 9. And let's switch colours to red for this. So we got 9, 1, 1 and 9. We also got 3 and 3. I don't need to write 3 and 3 because it's the same thing. Okay? So this time we don't need to reverse it because it's just the same factors. So let's put in our arrows as usual, because that's the way we're doing our multiplication. Doing diagonal multiplications to check to get our target number. target number this time is going to be minus 12. So let's see. 5 times 1 is 5, and 1 times 9 is 9. Can I make a 12 using a 5 and a 9? Well, no, I can't. Let's check the next one. So that doesn't work. 5 times 9 is 45, and 1 times 1 is 1. 45 and 1. No, certainly can't make that 12. So I'm guessing it's going to be the last one. It should be. 5 times 3 is 15, and 1 times 3 is 3. 15 and 3. Yes, I can make a 12 using a 15 and a 3, so it must be this one. Now all we got to do is make sure we get our signs correct. So let's change colour pens here again. This time I need minus 12. If I do 5 times 3, I get 15. 1 times 3 is 3, so 15 and 3. I'm going to have to do a take away here. But I want negative 12, so it's going to have to, we want minus 15, and I'm going to add 3. Minus 15 plus 3 gives me the minus 12 that I'm looking for. And if you check, minus 3 times plus 3, well, that gives me the minus 9. So I know it must be correct. And then, once again, we read our factors horizontally. So, we've got 5x squared, 5x, let's just get rid of that, 5x plus 3, and x minus 3, x minus 3. It's absolutely vital that we get the signs in the correct positions, because if it's done the other way, it won't expand to give you this, and it must expand back to give us what we started with. Right, so if you guys want to have a go at some questions, there is a heap of questions for you guys to try. These ones are slightly more difficult because they have 6. These are not prime, so they're slightly more difficult, but we don't need to worry about that for now. We'll come across these type of questions at a later date. But if you want to give them a go, give them a go. Just pause the video now and try the questions, and you can check your answers by looking here. Okay, best of luck.